live.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Larry the Garden Fairy. This is a work in progress. I've had this idea for, well over a year, and I've actually changed my idea probably 3 or 4 times in that amount of time, and this is what I've landed on. I've landed on building a cut flower garden. I'd like you to take a ride with me along that venture, and alongside that, I want to do something about toxic masculinity. It's something that I grew up with, and I don't want to make it a heavy story. If anything, I just want to enlighten you on the things that you say and the impacts they can have on our children of the world. You know, it's just because you're a boy doesn't mean that you have to like digging in the dirt and, you know, working on a car. And just because you're a girl doesn't mean that you shouldn't like digging in the dirt and working on a car. So we're gonna get this video started from beautiful Duluth, Minnesota on this balmy, almost June day. And take you on a tour of what's going on. So I started seeds. Oh, way too late, but you know what? Everyone that I watched on the garden channels was saying that, you know, don't start your seeds too early unless you have a hoop house, a greenhouse, or somewhere where you can store them, because as they get bigger and you need to repot them, your space for heat mats and lights diminishes. So I started them a little late. I'm focusing mainly on zinnias, sunflowers, snapdragons, gladiolas, and a few fillers. Basil's going to be my main filler that I'm going to be using, because with this project I want to start cruising. I have my license for the city of Duluth that I can be a vagrant traveling merchant, and so that's where this summer's taking me. You can see right now that we are outside. It is foggy, it is chilly, but you know what? I say F you to Mother Nature. It's like, you know what? I can wear shorts if I want to wear shorts. So, starting right up here, we have, you can't really see them, but I've started pre-sprouting my dahlias. And this is something I started April 15th. So, 6 weeks ago. This is what they look like when they're just starting to sprout. You can see a few little green leaves here. I know I get so excited when I see this, but you just put them in the soil, don't even have to cover the tuber all the way up, and wait till you see green. And if you see green, then it's worth putting in the ground. If you don't see green, well, can't win them all. So we're just going to head this way. I'm going to show you a few more of the things that I've got started. I started snapdragons, stock, which is a super fragrant flower that I've learned you can pick the seedlings as they're sprouting to determine whether or not you're going to have a single stalk. And I don't mean stalk as the stem. The flower itself is called stock. Very fragrant, super pretty, but there's a double and a single. When I say single stock, I mean it flowers single. So the doubles are much more showy. So I've actually done my best. We'll see how many I missed, but you pluck them out and save the good ones. I've got zinnias started. I've got my snapdragons started, and these are the this is what dahlias look like 6 weeks after you've started them, you guys. This here, you know, is just starting to show some of the, I want to get out of the pot. But dahlias are touchy. They do not like cold ground, and they'll let you know. So, they are my favorite flower. By the time I'm done getting the ones up on the porch, in the ground, these in the ground, I should have somewhere between 80 and 100 dahlias. So, ooh, I'm so excited. But let's take a walk this way, you guys. This here is a black lace elderberry. If you are looking for a show in your yard that's going to give you a nice pop off of your white house or a white fence or anything like that, you guys plant one of these. They go 4 feet to 5 feet to 6 feet, depending on finding the right spot for them. You know, one of the garden shows I watch is Garden Answer, which I can't recommend enough. Laura is extremely knowledgeable. She gardens the way I would garden. She likes neat and tidy. You won't see that in the backyard, but you know, she's if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, she lost a huge evergreen tree in a windstorm, and you know what? You just can't cry over something like that. And she got it replaced, and life goes on. But another great choice, black lace elderberry. So we're gonna start here with the magnolia. This is a Merrill magnolia, almost finishing its bloom cycle, but you guys, it's just such a striking plant when it's in full bloom. You can see that there's still blossoms that are that haven't popped yet. And this here used to be Gary's Shades of White. Because of our invasion of deer in the last 2 years, we've kind of tried to get away from like tulips and lilies, and he's replacing it with stuff from the backyard. Some of the peonies have been moved. I just, you know, this is the thing about gardening, you guys. It makes my heart feel good, and I want to share that with you guys. And I want you to understand that liking flowers and liking to garden does not make you less of a man. So let's take a walk here. This is the garden that some has already expired. You know, the daffodils have seen their time. The hyacinth still look great. And one thing about hyacinths, you know, you only get the one bloom on them, but it lasts for a long, long time. And the deer don't like them. So we're gonna come back in here. This is what I tore out last year and the year before. This was all grass here. And so Gary's the one that mows the lawn, so he is not a big fan of all the grass, and so he said it in front of me. Guess what? The grass is gone. So this is a mainly, I would say, part sun to shade area. I've got some alliums in here. I've got the foxglove, the ferns, the hostas. I tell you guys, it's been such a cold spring. It's almost June 1st. And that's where our hostas are at in Duluth. Minneapolis, you're probably looking at hostas that have almost got to mature height. The 9-bark here used to be right next to the Japanese maple, where the yews over there are now. And so we just had 2 tall things next together, moved it down here. It really doesn't look like it took any transplant shock at all. I mean, you look at this plant, this shrub, and 9-barks are just beautiful, you guys. The leaf colors, you can get them in a chartreuse green, you can get them in this nice red tone, but it's one of those things that, put a little red, a little green. Gardeners will say blue. This has a blue tone to it. And this is the lamb's ear. That is not one of Gary's favorites. So I'm taking it from his garden and moving it over here because it loves the shade. Another magnolia. Some Brunnera. Bleeding hearts. And yeah, this part here, we just threw these tulips in. My favorite ground cover is the Lamium. Probably see a little bit of it right here. You guys, if you ever come across Lamium, look, it just spreads. It's so easy to control. It has these delicate little soft pink or soft purple, sometimes white flowers all summer. It's just gorgeous. I love it. But Gary got after the apple tree this year, so It's looking great. It's been pruned up. The cherry tree is going to be in full blossom. We just had the sidewalk added a little over a week ago. Gary's boxwood hedge here is looking great too. It's just a nice little follow me. But you know, and then this is the work in progress, you guys. So let's take a walk up this way. And this is all going to be tilled out. I did buy a rototiller because the cost of renting a rototiller was more than half the price of buying one. So I have a rototiller if anyone wants to rent one. All right, so this is going to be tilled up, not 100%. Probably dahlias will be filling this area here, and probably this first row here, depending on how much room it takes. Last year, this was, did I do this last year, Gabriel, or the year before?
Year before.
Okay, this was on top of this. So this was this tall, and it was our compost bin. Never been turned. So it was 5, 6, 7 years of compost. When we dug into this, it was like gold, you guys, absolute gold. I mean, everything looked so good this year because we just spread that compost everywhere. And one of the things I hope you learn from me is there's more to gardening than plopping a plant in the ground. If you're not willing to take the time to do it, then don't do it. You know, it's the chances of you putting a plant in the ground and walking away and it surviving, it's a dandelion. But if you want to come up this way, Gare Bear, we're going to finish the walk around. These are just some of the annuals I've already picked up that we got to get put in the ground. The climbing rose that we got at Menards last year wintered so well. I'm super impressed. But then we have this garden here. This is, we've got a peony in here. I've got a couple of the golden raspberry plants there and there. The Montana bachelor button, super invasive. If you're going to plant it, know that every year, 2 or 3 times a year, you will be digging up these. So if anybody wants some, I'd be happy to put it in a pot for you. One of my new favorites, the Veronicas. This is going to be a perennial. For those that don't know, I don't know what we're talking about garden knowledge. Perennial just means that it comes back year after year. Annual means it's got 1 year and it dies. So we are in a zone 4B here, right down by the lake, and it goes down to zone 3 when you get up on the hill. So we are in this microclimate that warrants us probably about an extra, I would say 3 to 5 weeks of gardening from compared up on the hill. All right, so we're gonna take a walk down this way, and this, ooh, you guys, I did this last year. I am so proud of this. I planted these tulips. I planted the spireas down here, and the allium are coming up. But you guys, the one thing about having a cold spring, these tulips are going on week 2 of being in bloom. So, pros and cons, you guys. You can't be a gardener if you're easily kicked to the ground, because you know what, Mother Nature's gonna kick you to the ground with hail, rainstorms, wind, 100-degree weeks, you know, it just happens, you guys. So then this here is along the garage. We got a little planting area here. This was an idea I thought, ooh, this is a great idea. Well, these are sweet peas in here. This one's popping up. But I started these a long time ago. I have 1, 2 to shelf. But here's the deal. When you're planting sweet peas, soak the seeds. At least overnight. Soak the seeds. And if you have a mycorrhizal powder, a dash of that in the water is perfect. It's awesome. So I did not soak these seeds. Sweet peas have a very thick skin on the outside, or you can nick them with a little razor blade. Be careful, it's really hard to hold on to them, so that's why I didn't do that. But I'll show you what happens when you do soak them, because I did start another batch after that. Another area, this is where the mammoth hollyhock lives. Remember her from last year? Almost to the top of the garage. My goal this year is I would love to see her get 10 feet tall. Her name is Pearl, after my grandmother Pearl. She loved hollyhocks and geraniums, so anytime I see or smell either one, I get a great Grandma Pearl smile. So we'll come back around this way, give you a little bit of a look from this side. I transplanted some hostas in here, put some new hostas that we got from the Home and Garden show. They were selling dry root, and let me tell you what, excellent, excellent. We brought them home in, was that January or February, Gare? And put them in the fridge, and 4 months later, put them in the ground, and they're doing great. So this is the rest of the bulbs I planted here and here. I moved the rose garden to back here, just because I kind of want it recessed, because I don't want people walking by it for the obvious reason. But I can't be in this area, guys, without talking about Maggie the Magnolia. You guys, this is going to be a show. It's a butterfly magnolia. They get soft buttercup yellow flowers on them. There's actually one opening up right up over here, if you can see it. But in another, oh, here we go, Gary. Here, take a look at this one. This is just the beginning of it, you guys. I don't want to touch it because I don't want to pop the bud off there. But when these open up, they're going to be about 3 inches across. Absolutely stunning for about a week. I'll definitely be showing you guys about that. Water feature here, we're going to tear up a little bit and expand the size of the pond this summer. We have a very busy summer. But I'm going to take you right back to where we started and show you the exciting thing. Let's go. So, moved a few things here. It's, you know, gardening is never done. It's never done. You will be moving things because your trees get bigger, and now all at once, the ones that you planted in full sun are now in shade, and you have to find a new home for them. If you don't take the time to find a new home for them, then don't be sad when they just don't perform for you, you guys. Plants have specifications, and here's my thought on it. You have kids that want pets? Well, let me tell you, get them a plant. And if they can't keep that plant alive for 60 days, they aren't ready for a pet. So I always say, plants before pets. It's just a, you know what, they can make an agreement with you. If I keep this alive, I can get a puppy or a kitty, or preferably a kitty, because they're my face. So this is coming back. We're going to take a walk over, and I'm going to show you my project for the summer. I've already got the deer fencing because, like I told you, they have become a huge problem for Gare and I. So we're just going to take a walk around here. Can't tell you how many times these have been in the sun, out of the sun, in the rain, out of the rain, on the porch, on the ground, because you just gotta give them what they need. So here it is. This is our neighbor's house, Ray and Susie, and I agreed to mow their lawn for the summer with the help of my wonderful husband, who helped me with the bank here because it's a real bummer to do. And my back's just not at 100% yet, but it's way better than it used to be. So if you can come on up there, if you can see the lines, this is the outer line here is going to be fenced in with deer fencing, and there's going to be sunflowers and zinnias and snapdragons and cosmos and bachelor buttons, and this is where I'm going to harvest my flowers for bouquets that I plan on selling. I've got my license, like I said, I'll be out and about. I'm going to take you guys for shorter runs. This is just the intro, but I want you all to get from this that we need to stop having expectations on a child because they're a boy or because they're a girl. It's like, you have a girl that doesn't like to wear dresses, so what? You have a boy that likes to flit around in a tutu and put glitter in his hair, who cares? You know what? If your kid is happy and healthy, then let it be. You know, I like to just say this. I grew up with a father that was the man's man, construction working, race car driving mechanic, who couldn't stand my love of flowers, would have probably whipped my butt if I had showed up in a hot pink shirt, and you know, and told me that boys don't cry. You know, if you do those kinds of things, we need to unlearn that. We need to unlearn those kinds of things. If your girl loves to get in the dirt with her Tonka trucks, kudos to her. Let her be. She's not hurting anyone. And if you can't deal with it, it's not your child that has the problem, it's you. So this is Larry the Garden Fairy. I'll be coming to you at least 3 or 4 times a week. So if you could subscribe to my channel, Larry the Garden Fairy, and hit the notification buttons. You can do all of them, or you can just get random. They won't send you every video that I post, but I'm going to try to keep these videos 15 to 30 minutes, and I'm going to try to enlighten the human race that change is possible. We got to stop all of these stupid things that my grandpa told my dad told me. Now I'm going to tell my son? No. No. When my son wanted to dye his hair blue, I dyed his hair blue. Ex-wife didn't like it so much, but hey, anyway. So this is Larry the Garden Fairy signing off. I sure hope that you guys share my site. I'm going to make it public with the, I'll have the attachment there for you. I want you all to know that I'm new at this. I want to learn. If you know how to edit, if you know how to help with any of this, I will take any information you can give me. So I hope you're all having a great day. Stay warm. Love ya. Bye.